Will Justin Fields make or break Bears' expectations in 2023 and take the Bears atop the NFC North? Find out in this Bears Outlook of the 2023 season.
ATL Jacob, ATL Jacob.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast, where we bring unique insight and analysis behind your favorite teams at the collegiate and professional levels. I'm your host, Chase Shantz, and tonight we're starting a new daily video series breaking down each of every 2023 NFL team's outlook on the upcoming season. To start things off, we are going to go to the Windy City to look at the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears had a rough season under first-year head coach Matt Eberflus, and they went 3-14, fourth place in the NFC North, finishing with the worst record in the National Football League under quarterback Justin Fields, who completed 60% of his passes, threw for 2,242 yards, 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and an 85.2 passer rating. Things looked rough. He was able to run the ball a whole lot this past season. He ran for over 1,000 yards, one of a couple quarterbacks to ever do that in National Football League history. It was a rough go for them, though. He was really one of the only bright spots that they had, and they had to do a lot of things on the other side of the ball, especially looking at their defense, the entire defense, revamping that, looking at how that went in 2022. And then their offense under offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, they had to get some more pieces out for Justin Fields protection-wise and some toys for him to play with. So their offseason ads were very, very nice. Some notable offseason additions for the Chicago Bears. On the offensive side of the ball, they picked up Donta Foreman, 914 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 4.5 yards per carry in Carolina, as well as receiver DJ Moore from the Panthers, who had 63 catches for 888 yards and 7 touchdowns. Did a lot of good things down there, and hopefully will be the big target for Justin Fields as his number one receiver going forward. And on the defensive side of the ball, they were able to add TJ Edwards from the Philadelphia Eagles, had 159 total tackles and 2 sacks. And Tremaine Edmonds coming from the Buffalo Bills, 102 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. Up front on defense, they added DeMarcus Walker from the Tennessee Titans, had 32 total tackles and 7 sacks, trying to bolster their pass rush. And then they add the big man in the middle, former Bengal Andrew Billings from the Raiders, had 39 total tackles and 1 sack, trying to take him as the nose tackle. David Montgomery, on the contrary, walked over to division rival the Detroit Lions to become one of the couple running backs they have in that backfield over with Jahmyr Gibbs. We're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions here in a couple days, but David Montgomery was a big part of the Chicago Bears offense the last couple years. They're going to miss him, but hopefully with their replacement in Donta Foreman, they'll be able to be a better short yard running team, and at the same time, Khalil Herbert's able to add a bit more pop as well. So I think the Bears looked as though they added more dynamic forces in the running back room. Speaking of running the football, I think the Bears want Justin Fields to do a little less of that. Last season, he had a good season for what he had around him and his situation, but there's obviously going to be eyes on him this season, with Kevin Warren coming in as the new general manager of the Chicago Bears, coming from the Big Ten, and seeing Justin Fields play football. He's going to have high expectations for him in 2023 in a division that is now wide open with Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers. Justin Fields, he needs to have a huge season. And a huge season could look different when it comes to a quarterback like him compared to a traditional pocket passer like Josh. And honestly, when you talk about traditional pocket passers, like, we're not even, does that even exist anymore? Obviously, look at like Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Josh Allen's not really a traditional pocket passer, but he can pass from the pocket pretty well. Patrick Mahomes, just the upper echelon of the league, the top guys, don't necessarily need Justin Fields to take that step. It would be nice for him to take that step and become a way better pocket passer and have time to throw. But I just wanted to throw out my numbers that I think he should have to keep his job, because let's not forget, there was a lot of chatter around Chicago that, you know, potentially Bryce Young was going to be the number 1 overall pick. Chicago had that number 1 overall pick, but they traded to Carolina, and in return, get DJ Moore and a bunch of picks to help out Justin Fields. But some numbers I think Justin Fields is going to have to look at. He's going to have to increase his passing percentage, obviously, from 60%. I think he's going to be around 63%. Get his passing yards to about 3,406 yards is the projection. for him to have a good season and for Chicago to really be in the running till the last week of the season. I got to see 20 touchdown passes from him, right around 8 interceptions. Get that number up by 3 in the touchdowns. Get the interceptions down by 3. That's a good improvement. He ran the ball I think about 170 times last season, roughly. Would like to see them cut that out a little bit, but he's a very, very dynamic player, so they're definitely going to need him to run the football and do some big things for them. Right around 136 attempts, 680 yards, 8 touchdowns. That would be a fantastic season for Justin Fields. And that would have Bears fans very, very excited. And maybe Justin Fields could become the first 4,000-yard passer in Chicago. It's actually absurd that that's never happened before, but he would make that big step to be able to be one of the best quarterbacks in football and one of the best young stars in the league. Well, looking up the guys up front for the Chicago Bears, the offensive line, that has been a big Achilles heel for them the last few years, especially when it comes to Justin Fields taking a beating back there. Looking at the offensive line, they drafted Darnell Wright, 10th overall out of Tennessee. He'll be playing right tackle, most likely going to be the day one starter. Across the board, Braxton Jones at left tackle, Tevin Jenkins at right guard, Nate Davis in there, Cody Whitehair. Not a bad group, and actually their 2 highest rated players last year, according to Pro Football Focus, was Tevin Jenkins at right guard and Braxton Jones at left tackle. Did a lot of good for them. Hopefully they can keep making those strides and take those steps to protect Justin Fields and give him more time and give the running backs, Foreman and Khalil Herbert, some more running lanes. It's a big part of the team. They're able to make that next step. Darnell Wright is a pretty big wall on the outside. Hopefully is, protecting Justin Fields' front side. He gets the job done, and Chicago is able to rely on him and really grow as a unit up front. Defensively, the Bears made it a priority to revamp their front 7 and try to get more pressure on the quarterback. That was the big thing for them last season. Getting some guys that are tackling machines, and TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds over the middle with that linebacker core with Jack Sanborn. I mean, that's going to go a long way for them if they're able to pick it up right where they left off with those teams that made the playoffs. The Bears were not really good on defense last season. Their pass rush was pretty lackluster. Not a single guy. I think that the guys that were returning, you had Justin Jones and Travis Gibson. Both of those guys had 3 sacks last year. Just didn't generate enough pressure on the quarterback. So hopefully they're able to get some of that with DeMarcus Walker coming off the edge and Andrew Billings up the gut, more of a nose tackle role. And then their secondary was one of their brighter parts of the team. Eddie Jackson really taking a role there. Had 80 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 6 passes defended. Jaquan Brisker, another guy who had a big season with 104 tackles. Those 2 safeties are going to be the heart and soul of that defense, especially on the back end. Obviously, adding TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds is going to go a long, long way. But just to have that last level of defense with two safeties who have been in this thing for a minute is really nice to have. Their corners on the outside, they're going to have to be more physical. Hopefully, make some more plays on the ball. Looking at their nickel corner, Kyler Gordon, 71 tackles, 3 interceptions last season. Hopefully he can make some necessary strides to become one of the best nickel corners in the National Football League. The Bears, coming off a 3-14 season, have 4 primetime games this year. They play 2 Thursday night football games. They go to Washington week 5. They take on the Panthers later on in the season in week 10 at home on Thursday night football. They go to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers on Sunday night football week 8, and then they have a Monday night date on week 12 against the Minnesota Vikings. So you're going to see the Bears a pretty good amount on national television, especially the first 2 weeks of the season. Week 3, they play at Kansas City, which will be the doubleheader game on Fox at 4:25. And then their week 1 opponents against the Green Bay Packers, who don't have the Bears owner, Aaron Rodgers, anymore. Jordan Love's going to be stepping in there. They're going to go over the Soldier Field, play against each other in a week 1 battle. Very excited to see how that one goes. It's the Bears' chance to take down the Packers and really try to establish themselves in this new look NFC North. And it's going to be very, very exciting to see what the Bears can do that day. Obviously, 1 week doesn't make the season, but it can really set the tone going forward in the season with a win over the Packers. With the Bears, I could see them going around 6-11. I don't really do all the schedule predictions on the show. At least I'll go through and do them on my own time, but. I see around 6-11 for the Chicago Bears. That's double the amount of wins they had last season, and they're able to make that necessary step. And Justin Fields going into his 4th season, I think that'll be big for them. And that seeing how Justin Fields performs, seeing his numbers, seeing how he does with the players, his camaraderie, I think that'll be a big indicator on if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option or not. So a lot of big things coming for Chicago this year, and they got a lot of opportunities to take down some pretty good opponents and a lot of national TV opportunities for the fans and viewers to see. So I'm excited to see what the guys from the Windy City can do.